Why are we still paying for online multiplayer in 2023? Honestly, I don't know. Today I want to discuss this very topic and why it's a business decision that doesn't really benefit you or anyone except for the company. As you've heard, Microsoft is discontinuing Xbox Live Gold and merging it with Game Pass under a new tier, Game Pass Core, which is kind of why I'm making this video to talk about it. I'm not here to specifically talk about Game Pass as a service, but I'll summarize what this new tier is in case some of you are out of the loop. Microsoft is launching a new Xbox Game Pass Core subscription to replace Xbox Live Gold. This new Game Pass Core offering will include the usual Xbox Online console multiplayer support, deals and discounts, and a new small catalog of more than 25 games, including Gears 5, Forza Horizon 4, and Psychonauts 2. Existing Xbox Live Gold members will be automatically transferred across to Xbox Game Pass Core on September 14, with the service price at the same rate of $9.99 per month or $59.99 per year as Xbox Live Gold. As part of this replacement subscription, Microsoft is discontinuing Games with Gold on September 1st, the perk that has allowed Xbox owners to grab free games monthly for a decade and add them to their content library. Any Xbox 360 titles that were redeemed in the past will be permanently kept in a library, but Xbox One titles will rely on an ongoing subscription to Xbox Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate." End quote. What does this mean for you? It changes nothing really. Microsoft for a while has slowly tried to pivot away from Xbox Live Gold ever since Game Pass started becoming their main focus, and it comes to no surprise that they're finally merging both into one. However, the problem here lies the fact that they still continue to lock online multiplayer behind a subscription. To me, it sends a message that Microsoft does not care about the consumers or any corporations for that matter, in spite of this goodwill image that they've been trying to build for themselves ever since the bad reception of the Xbox One launch last generation. Now, you may think that I'm being hard on Microsoft, but Sony and Nintendo are just as guilty as Microsoft when it comes to online multiplayer. Ironically, Sony used to have multiplayer access for free on the PS3, but that all changed starting with the PS4. Xbox had always had a subscription model ever since the original Xbox. Nintendo just followed the same thing that both companies were doing and assumed that this is pro-consumer when it's actually not. A lot of the arguments I see online is that Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo need to pay for the servers. You'd be right, but also wrong. I agree, servers are not cheap. They need money to be maintained. But you know how these companies are making money? The answer is simple. It starts by buying the hardware. After that, you buy the games. Whether it's retail or digital, for every game, DLC, or other add-ons, all three companies take a 30% cut from that. That 30% goes back into maintaining the infrastructure, paying for content delivery networks to be able to deliver the content quickly to the customers, as well as paying employees that maintain the review process or maintaining online features like achievements, friends list, party chat, and a bunch of other stuff in between. And you also want to know who agrees with me? Tim Sweeney. Whether you like or hate him, he made a good point on Twitter, and I'm about to read it to you. Quote, "No platform company should install a paywall in front of other companies' online modes. It's a terrible business practice that ought to have never existed. Subscription offerings should provide a bundle of new features and benefits provided by the company that offers a subscription, not take away features created by others and lock them behind a paywall." End quote. And dare I say it, I agree with him. I wouldn't be so annoyed if Microsoft just said that, hey, we will get rid of the mandatory payment for online multiplayer, but if you want access to many good games and deals, subscribe to Game Pass. Tim Sweeney also mentioned that Fortnite isn't affected by this due to its free-to-play nature, and I'll get into the free-to-play thing momentarily. He also replied to another user mentioning server costs, and which he replied with, quote, "Sales of games and in-game items can pay for the cost of operations, as with Steam and the Epic Games stores do, or they could bill developers for the cost of services they choose to use like AWS and PlayFab do." End quote. And there you go, that is coming straight from the CEO of Epic Games, the man responsible for Unreal Engine and Fortnite. In case you don't know, PlayFab is part of Microsoft Azure Services, which is more or less specialized for gaming. Microsoft Azure is one of the biggest cloud computing platforms alongside of Amazon Web Services or AWS and Google Cloud. Some companies actually use Azure, and Ubisoft is one of them. They use Azure to host Rainbow Six Siege, which is available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Fortnite uses AWS and is available to a lot of platforms that you can think of. But many game studios often use other cloud providers, and there are so many of them out there. The only thing the platform holders provide for these developers are basic authentication, your profile data, achievements, friends list, SDKs, and so on. They don't necessarily host all of the game servers that you probably play on. It's unlikely that games like Overwatch or Call of Duty is relying on PlayStation or Xbox servers to run the multiplayer session. However, they do provide some basic networking functionality for developers that can either 1. Don't need a dedicated server like fighting games, or 2. Indie game developers that can't afford the cost of dedicated servers. In that case, these games will use a peer-to-peer networking model, where effectively one person is the host and everyone connects to them. This is how games used to work in the 7th generation consoles. For AA and obviously AAA games, they can afford to use dedicated servers from the likes of AWS or Azure, which come with many features and flexibility that would allow them to scale easily to the mass player count. So the argument that Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo need money to pay for the servers is being disingenuous. In that context, then why is it that free-to-play games like Fortnite, Destiny 2, Genshin Impact, Rocket League, Halo Infinite are still playable even without a subscription? And yet, games that have a price tag, you can't play them online. Here's another example. Halo the Master Chief Collection? The game is available on PC and Xbox. When it comes to the multiplayer, they connect to the same Azure servers that both PC and Xbox uses. They are cross-platform. I can play with the friends and random players that are on PC or vice versa. The only difference here is that I'm not paying for online, but the guy that is playing on his Xbox has to pay for it. Do you see where I'm coming from? There's really no excuse for these companies to continue pushing for this terrible business practice, and it sucks that people are outright defending these corporations when there should be no reason to. Now you may think that I can't afford a subscription, but why should I be forced to subscribe just to play online? Now look, Game Pass, PlayStation Plus have their benefits. You get free games or discounts, but for me, I don't jump in between a lot of games to really reap the benefits of a subscription. I prefer buying games that I'm interested in and add them to a wishlist in case those games go on sale. I'll give you a real scenario. I sometimes play Rainbow Six Siege. I have it on PC and PS4. The problem is, Siege does not have cross-platform on PC to consoles and vice versa. So if I wanted to play with friends, I need to get PlayStation Plus. I don't use my PS4 that much for multiplayer gaming, so naturally I'd get a 1-month plan for PlayStation Plus. Why? Because it would be a waste of money to do auto renewal or pay for a 12-month subscription, especially when you aren't using the console all the time. The time is still ticking even if you aren't playing. It simply loses value over time. It's like airlines, except they earn money from the thing that they purchased or leased. Planes cost millions of dollars. If the planes are sitting there at the airport doing nothing, they aren't making any money. That would be a waste of money for the company, and I think it applies to my case scenario. I don't play a lot of multiplayer games on console to justify a subscription. If console was my primary platform for games, then I would benefit from this and see the value, but I don't. I just want to play multiplayer on console without having to constantly think about the time left in my subscription. I much prefer being able to have the option to subscribe to Game Pass or PlayStation Plus just for the benefits of the discounts and free games that comes with it, while also having the online multiplayer being free to everyone. But sadly, these companies don't care. They know gamers will pay for it no matter what. I think I've said enough. What do you guys think? Should online multiplayer be free for everyone? Post your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.